Welcome to the channel. My name is James Delco. I'm a singer-songwriter based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is the story of how I recorded Wait on Her. So Wait on Her is the second song that I released in my catalog, but put a little star next to that because it's not entirely true. It came out in March of 2025, and it's got a fun story. I was ready to put some music out, and I made this demo. I sent it to some friends who wanted to play on it, one of them being Gary Green. He was the drummer on this track. And then I actually recorded this song at a studio in Fort Mill, South Carolina called the Wav Lab. And Joe Miller owns that place. So if you like the way those drums sound, check him out. He does great work and he's an even greater guy. So thanks to him, this song is possible. So we had a really fun day in the studio. We tracked as a kind of a small band. It was Gary, my friend Chris on keyboards, myself on guitar and vocals, and Joe actually lent himself and he played bass as well as engineering, which is a really cool thing. He didn't have to do that, but I really appreciated it. We tracked as a band, and it was really just to make sure we were happy with the drums and we got a good drum take or a few takes that we could edit into one we were happy with. And once we had found that, we actually went ahead and did some percussion. Gary got in there, and this was definitely my favorite part of this whole experience. So watching someone who's played in studios and recorded for their whole professional life just go to work. He did shakers, he did congas, he did tambourines, cowbell, triangle, and I'm surely missing something else, but he did all of that percussion that you hear on this track, and he killed it. And everything was one take. He just, he went up to the mics, did shakers, moved on to the next instrument, one after the other. It was really impressive. So we all went home happy with what we had done, and I was just waiting on Joe to send back a mix that I could approve. And once I got that first mix, I actually wanted to go back and do the vocals again. And so he kind of advised against this, saying, you've already spent a lot of money and you should be happy with what you have because you did a really good job. But I wasn't having it. So I went and did it again, and he was super helpful. And then I got the mix back a few days later again. And this time I broke down. I was still not happy with what I heard. I'd spent a ton of money. I'd spent my whole budget that I had made. I had set aside to make this song, and I was defeated. I did not like the way it sounded, and it had nothing to do with the mix and everything to do with me and how I kind of felt about the way I sounded. So it really just knocked me back. And, you know, after a week or two of just, what do I do? I decided to do the vocals at home where I could have more control. That didn't really change much. If anything, it probably sounded worse. But, you know, that's what we did. Joe took my tracks that I sent him, and he mixed it, and we put it out. And I knew I wasn't happy with it still, but I knew it was important to just put it out and move on, and I was told that this was the best thing to do as well by the people around me. So we did that. I didn't really market it, and, you know, I let a whole year go by. So that's what we did. I think we started tracking in January. It came out in March of 2024. And then I knew I didn't like it, but I didn't know what else to do. So this whole summer went by. I did some projects, and then we recorded Lily, and that was the first time I was actually very happy with the way a song turned out. So I took that win, and I went into the next year knowing that I was going to re-record Wait on Her. So I actually moved into this room that you see now, and it was the very first thing that I recorded. I took down everything. I took down the vocals, the guitars, the bass, everything, the keyboards, except for the drums. I kept the drums and the percussion. And so I rebuilt the track around that. I actually rearranged the song to include a cuatro. So if you can see, this is a cuatro, and it's an instrument from Venezuela, which is where I'm from. And that was the new, like, backbone of the tune. And it really helped it lean into that Latin sound that I was going for. So I ended up just playing every other instrument that you hear aside from the drums. I did the vocals here as well, and I remixed the song on my own and had my friend Aiden Swift master it. It ended up coming out March in 2025. And so it took me about a year to record one song, put it out, delete it, re-record it, and put it out again. and I learned a lot in the process. I definitely learned about planning. I learned a lot about arranging, a lot of technical things, but the real thing I can take away from all this is that you often sound better than you think you do. At least that is the case for me. Pretty hard on myself. And also that you have to let yourself grow as an artist. Rarely is it going to be perfect, and also perfect isn't fun to listen to for the audience. So if I were to do it again, it would sound a little better, but I think that it's worth investing time into more music, more new music, instead of going back and redoing things that people have already heard. So that's the story of how I recorded Wait on Her.